So England are in to the semi-final of Euro 2024. They beat Switzerland on penalties. Every single penalty taker that took a penalty scored. Jordan Pickford came up massive with the save from Akanji. This isn't England. This isn't the England we know. This isn't the England that we love. This is a new England, and we love them even more. Every single penalty taker that took a penalty was class, was calm, composed, and every single penalty was perfect. Cole Palmer hasn't been in the team. Lots of people have been saying he should have been in the team. Came on to take the first penalty in the first penalty shootout we've had all tournament. The nerve to do that is brilliant. Ivan Toney, his no-look penalty. Didn't look at the ball once. Stared Jan Sommer in the eyes. Delivered. The bollocks to do that in a national competition, in an international tournament, when his penalty puts us in position to win the shootout. Incredible. Bukayo Saka, after what he went through, after missing the penalty that lost us the Euros against Italy in 2021, to come back, to step up in the first place and take a penalty, shows the type of character he's got as a player and as a person. But to score it the way he did, it was probably the best penalty we took, right in that bottom right corner. Unbelievable. Jude and Trent as well. England don't win penalty shootouts. 2 of 9. 2 of the last 9 we had won before last night. And we look so calm and so composed. And Jordan Pickford, he has his little routine. He has his little procedures that he goes through. Looked class. And the save for Akanji was brilliant. To be able to sit down and talk about an England win where we've looked much better, and we've held our nerve on penalties, something that England don't do at all, notoriously well. Brilliant. It's so fulfilling, and we've got a semi-final to look forward to, where hopefully we can come out and play in the same way, because I really like the system change. I was a big fan of how we looked for large majorities of that game last night. We looked much better. We pressed higher up the pitch. I think there's been such negativity around England this tournament because of the talent we've got and because of the way we're playing. The change to the 3 at the back allowed us to press much higher. We were a little bit slow in our build-up, I thought. I thought we kept going to Pickford quite a lot and working it round. But we were in control of the ball and we were in control of the game. Not making too many clear-cut chances, not making even many half chances, but we were in control of the game. And I think that was a very important point that needed to be done against Switzerland, because if you look at that game against Italy, they controlled the tempo. They controlled who had the ball. They'd press Italy very well. Italy would go long, they'd win the ball, they'd recover it and they'd recycle it and go again, and they'd pen Italy in. And I was worried about that, especially how we'd played previously, that this game might become similar to that. That this game might be, we're going to be defending, lumping it high, hoping Kane wins a ball and then counter-attacking. But the system change worked really well that we didn't do that. We controlled large majorities of that game. Probably only the last 15 minutes we didn't really control. Last 15 of extra time, I mean. And we were up against it. And it started to look a little bit like that Italy game. I saw resemblances of that Italy game in the last 15 minutes of extra time, where Switzerland were piling on the pressure. We were lumping it long and couldn't keep the ball, and it just kept coming back. We didn't have an outlet. For the large majority of the game, I thought the change in the system worked really well, because it allowed us to have our best players in their best positions. Foden played as a 10 and was really effective, really good for the first 70 minutes, and then sort of dropped off. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's due to tiredness, maybe that's due to changes in the system after we went behind that didn't really suit him. But Jude and Foden as 2 10s worked really well. You could tell in the previous games Foden was coming inside and Jude was going on the wing, because I think they felt in a way that Foden was best in a 10. Jude was not sort of delivering as he was expected to in the 10. And I think they swapped off their own back. And I think having both of them as number 10s worked really well. It's very difficult, especially when you've got a striker like Harry Kane, who we'll get onto in a second. But it's very difficult for a defensive unit to pick up a striker and 2 number 10s that are so good at interchanging, so good at dropping, so good at receiving the ball with their back to goal on the half turn, turning and driving. You look at Bellingham last night, he was brilliant on the ball, received the ball, drove, beat a man, played it off and sort of took a couple of defenders out of the game, opened up and created space for other people. But it was just the lack of final ball. The lack of end product was, again, our main downside. I thought we got into really good positions and really good areas, but we just wouldn't use it. We got into the wide areas really well. Saka was so effective throughout the game. He was so good, by the way. That's the best I've seen Bukayo Saka play in an England shirt for a long time. Every single time he had the ball, he beat his man. He looked so dangerous. Saka would receive the ball and you'd sort of sit up off your chair a little bit. You'd stand to your feet and you'd go, okay, he's going to do something here. And we haven't seen that for a few games from Saka, but he was so good as a wing back as well. It's not his natural position. He would have had more defensive duties to do than he would have liked, but he coped with it really well, and it was so impressive. But we got into really good areas. Saka would beat a man, and then we just wouldn't do anything with it. We wouldn't have enough bodies in the box. We wouldn't play the right ball. We would misplace the pass. And it just looked like one of those games for the large majority where England were controlling it, were much the better team, in my opinion, and just weren't going to get over the line because of that final ball, because of that final product. And then we go behind, and then you start thinking, oh, wow, here we go again. This is typical. We're going to control the game. We're going to get into good areas. We're not going to have the final ball, and it's going to be a disaster. Luke Shaw, that hasn't played in months. His last game for Manchester United was mid-February. He comes on for what was meant to be 10-15 minutes, ends up playing a full 40-50 minutes with extra time, and he looked so good. It looked like he'd never been away. He gave England something different. He gave us an option down the left-hand side. It's amazing what happens when you've got a left-back playing left-back. There was a moment in extra time where Luke Shaw gave the ball to, I think it was Eze that was playing out on the left, overlapped, took two defenders away, which gave Eze a clear run to goal. Eze's shot was, he fluffed it and it went wide. But that was the prime example of having a left back that's confident on his left foot, that overlaps, that knows how to play that position, took two defenders away, let Eze cut inside and shoot. Luke Shaw added a completely different dimension to England. And I think if Luke Shaw's fully fit again, and by the looks of it, he looked like he'd never been away, so it looked like he is. If he can play, England will be so much better. My only sort of big issue with the game, apart from obviously going to extra time and penalties and not being able to beat Switzerland, who, you know, on paper we should be beating them fairly easily. My only other issue with the game was Harry Kane. I don't really know what's going on wrong with Harry Kane at the moment. He looks way off it. He looks, I'm not going to say he looks tired, but he looks leggy. He doesn't look like he's fully fresh and fully, not fit, but he doesn't look like he's fully there, and it's quite concerning. I don't think he's looked great all tournament. He's had flashes where he scored goals and he scored important goals, but I don't think he's looked great all tournament. I think he's dropping a little bit too deep. I think in a system where the England play, when you've not got wide men running past you, you can't really drop too deep. You've got Saka that likes the ball to feet. Saka will run a little bit, but he likes the ball to feet. He likes to cut inside. You've got Foden playing out on the left, or you had Foden playing out on the left, that likes the ball to feet and can cut inside because he's naturally a number 10. I think Kane's just dropping a bit too deep and doing a bit too much defending, and we don't really have an outlet to play out of. And that's one of the reasons I was concerned that it was going to be a game where it was Switzerland attack, England clear, Switzerland attack, England clear, and they'd eventually break us down. Just because Kane drops deep and we don't really have an outlet. I think Kane needs to stay high, needs to stretch the pitch, needs to give the opposition centre-half something to worry about. There were multiple occasions last night where we put the ball in the box and we've had two players in there maximum. Kane wasn't one of them. I think if we're going to play this system and we're going to have Saka on the right and maybe Luke Shaw on the left with Foden and Bellingham that can combine and are going to get to the byline and are going to put balls in the box, you need Harry Kane to be in the box to be there. I know it's not his natural game, but sometimes you have to sacrifice your natural game for the team. And Kane's brilliant at dropping deep, and Kane's brilliant on the ball and brilliant at passing and playing almost that false nine role. But he needs to be in the box, in my opinion. He needs to be there. He needs to be on the end of balls. He needs to be causing problems for defenders. If he stays high, he's going to get goals, even if it's not his natural game. He's going to be on the end of balls. He's going to be in the box. He's going to be in positions that, you know, a drop down might fall to him. Because last night, we would put balls in the box. And if we didn't win the shootout, by the way, this would be a completely different tone of video. But this point would be my main point, that we didn't have numbers in the box. There'd be multiple times we'd get into good areas and there'd be 3 players in the box and there'd be 6 Swiss defenders. And you're not gonna break a team down like that. You're not gonna get on the end of drop downs. You're not gonna get on the end of crosses by being massively outnumbered, almost doubly outnumbered in the box. Obviously, buzzing, very, very happy that England are into the semi-final. I'm starting to believe again that we can go all the way. Before the competition, I was so confident. You look on paper, so confident that the team, the players we've got, the individuals we've got, I was so confident we'd win the tournament, or we'd get to the final and maybe lose to a France or a Spain as we did in the World Cup, where we were unlucky. As the competition's gone on, my confidence has dipped. My confidence has gone all the way to the bottom. But after last night, I'm starting to rise again. I'm starting to feel it again. I'm starting to hear it's coming home playing in the background of my head. But there is still things to work on, I think. And I'm confident. I'm confident we can get past the Netherlands. Semi-final, England is coming home. Let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. This is a new style of video. We're going to be doing a lot more of this, a lot more of like football vlogs, just more in real life football content. Let me know what you think. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. And England are in the semis and it's coming home, baby. Let me know, is it coming home in the comment section below? Thanks for watching. Have a very nice day. See you in a bit.